Sveiki mūsų Facebook'o draugai. Mes kaip ir eilinį trečiadienį ragaunam kažkokį tai vyną Facebook'o tiesioginė transliacija ir jau kaip tapo tradicija, mūsų svečias yra žmogus, kuris yra tiesiogiai toje vietoje, iš kur mes vyną ragausim. Tai šiandien mūsų dėmesyje yra Rioja ir Luis de Egija yra iš Riojos, todėl jis tiesiog netgi Vyno Rūsyje mums šiek tiek padės suprasti, kodėl vynas yra tokio skonio, kuo tas regionas yra išsiskiriantis. Ir jisai daugiau kalbės, aš daugiau klausinėsiu, nors vyno taurę aš turiu. Tikiuosi ir jūs pasirūpinote Riojos vynu, jie visi daromi gana panašių stilium, todėl galima ragauti bet ką ir manau pasakojimas atspindės tą skonį, kuris. So welcome, Luis.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you here, and thank you for joining us. It's now the best way to travel. We do that every week with our Facebook community. I'm sure that people are learning now much more about wine than it was before, because really a lot of content on social media, and we're also very happy that we can show our partners everywhere over Europe and world. And yesterday we talked about Rioja region, which is well, it was and still is quite popular in Lithuania, because style is very, very distinctive, and people, if they like Rioja style wine, they drink all day life. So I will show now on a map the place, just to position a bit where is Rioja, to understand, to help people understand this. And if you could maybe to start from the small things like, that's photo from Haro, where the winery is also located, I guess.
Yes, right.
So,
yeah, right.
Rio, could you tell a few words about, is it like cool climate or warm climate? You are in the northern part of Spain, so.
Yes, we are right in the north of Spain. Actually, if we talk with Spanish people, they will tell that this is a cold weather. But of course, it's a mild weather. It's a quite interesting weather. We are a microclimate, actually located right between two mountain systems. In the north, we have the Cantabric system, and in the south, the Sierra de la Demanda. So we are in a valley that the Rioja is practically 40 kilometers wide, plus 100 kilometers long. And we have a microclimate. We are very well protected from the strong winds of the north for the Cantabrian system, and in the south, in the system for the Sierra de la Demanda, as I told you. Also, we have a microclimate, and we are more continental climate. So in mild weather, I'm telling you that we have snow. We are around 450 meters over the sea level, but the snow is maybe 2 weeks per year, and it's not more than 5 centimeters high, so it's not that so strong. And the lowest temperature we can reach during night, -5, -6 degrees, but summer, we are not so high temperature as the south of Spain. Our temperature is around 35 degrees maximum. We can reach this for maybe 1 week per year. Of course, it's in August or sometimes July. Now that's the microclimate. That's where we are right now. And actually, Rioja, we are located. The winery is located right in Haro, as you say, and Haro is the capital of the Rioja wine, not the Rioja region, but the Rioja wines. And we are located right in the train station quarter, where there is the centenary wineries, as the quarter that concentrate more centenary wineries in the whole world. There are 7 of them.
So centenary means 100 years old and more.
Yes, and more, yes.
Just in one city?
Just in one city, just in one quarter of the city, yes.
So you have higher density than Pauillac and that kind
of... Yes, we could say so. For centenary wineries, yes, we are. So we are here surrounded by many very famous wineries. Actually, La Rioja Alta is surrounded by, for instance, Viña Tondonia, López Heredia, or Roda in the other side. So we all are together in just one block.
Okay, so I will say a few words in Lithuanian to help some people to understand things if something was not clear.
Sure.
Tai aš karts nuo karto lietuviškai šį bei tą pakomentuosiu. Tai klimatas mums yra svarbus, jeigu mes norime suprasti vyno skonį. Beje, tik šiandien someljė mokyklos nosės spėjimo čempionate Narimantas Miežys irgi spėjo Riojos vyną. Buvo labai įdomu klausytis, kaip jis iki to vyno prisikasa. Ir viena iš argumentų, kurį jis naudojo, buvo tai, kad klimatas šiltas, bet nėra karštas. Ir tą patį ir Luis sako, tai yra šiaurinė Italijos dalis, Ispanijos atsiprašau, ir ispanams tai netgi šaltas klimatas, nors šiaip jis yra vidutinis. Ir labiau kontinentinis, reiškia, nutolęs nuo jūrų, vadinasi, mažiau kritulių, šiek tiek šaltesnės naktys, kas leidžia irgi vynui formuotis su gera rūgštimi, neprarasti rūgšties ir neprikaupti per daug alkoholio. Tai, norint suprasti vyną, tikrai geografinėje yra labai svarbu, nes kalnai apsaugo nuo kritulių, nuo šalčio. Slėniai ateinantis iš vėsesnių vietų, ir čia šiuo atveju mes turime Erbro upę, ateinančią nuo Viduržemio jūros, kurią šiek tiek vėsumos gali irgi atkeliauti ir tą klimatą padaryti švelnesnį. Švelnesnis klimatas, mažiau karščio, mažiau alkoholio. Čia ta tokia taisyklė yra labai aiški. Ir, ką mums minėjo pašnekovas, kad Rioja ir ypatingai Haro miestelis, kur įsikūrusi jo vinė Rioja Alta, yra viena iš didžiausių 100 metų vyninių koncentracija, 7 vyninės viena šalia kitos tiesiog įsikūrusios, tai reiškia labai senas regionas su tikrai stipria vyndarystės istorija. Okay, so and maybe we could look a bit closer into the Rioja. I find a map of the soils, and yes. I think it's quite illustrative. We have 3 different types of soils. Could you say a few words if it is important in Rioja, talking about wine quality and style?
Yes, of course, it's quite very important. Depends of the soil, depends practically the quality of the wines, and more the quality depends the characteristics that everyone is looking for from the different varieties of grape as well. So in also the climate plays a very important role here with the wines. So for example, we have in the north in Rioja Alta, one of the best soils, very poor in soil, but in the Rioja Alavesa and the others a little bit more to the north. Rioja Alavesa means that this is part of Rioja geographically, but politically is from Rioja, from Álava, the Basque land. So the soil is more ferrous, more porous, and more poor soil in Rioja Alavesa, so the grapes are more concentration of tannics. It is quite very important as well. And in Rioja Alta, it's a little bit more humidity, and also that's why the grapes are growing up a little bit with a little bit higher content of, more humidity, more water, more production, we can say so as well, but the quality is different. It's more rich in fruit, in taste of fruit. In the other side, of course, Rioja Alavesa, it's a more in the direction of tannics, strong with a more content of alcohol. And we have in the other side Rioja Baja, that is more higher. This is in a higher position. It's a higher, around 800 meters over the sea level, but the soil also is more rocky, more minerality, and also we play with a different varieties. For example, Garnacha is very important in Rioja Baja, or Oriental Rioja, as the new appellation says. So it's very important, the different soils, the different grapes, that sort of grapes you want to grow, and also the parameters that you are looking for from each variety of grapes is quite very important as well. So it depends on all this, depends on the later the vinification of the wines. For example, here in Rioja Alta, we try to keep the wines a little bit longer in oak. Longer vinification is a little bit slower than in Rioja Alavesa, for example. Rioja Alavesa is more for more fruity wines, less oaky wines, and more contents of alcohol and more strong as well in taste. So it's very important. All the three different soils plays a very, very important role.
Taip, tai ponas Luis sako, kad trys skirtingi dirvožemiai, trys skirtingi regionai, Rioja Alta, Rioja Baja, Rioja Alavesa yra su skirtingai šiek tiek dirvožemiais, mes matome iš spalvos. Ir Rioja Alavesa labiau taniniški vynai su daugiau alkoholio, Rioja Alta daugiau vaisiškumo, o Rioja Baja minerališkumo. What is the best vineyard of your winery? On which soil it is located?
Yeah, also we have depends of the variety of wines, but for example, Viñardanza, we can say, use as a sample as the Viñardanza, because Viñardanza it's made with Tempranillo and Garnacha, are coming from very specific plots. If we are talking about Tempranillo, I will say that one of the best regions in Rioja is Rioja Alta. It's rich in mild weather, very well protected, very stable temperature, good temperature during night and good temperature during the day, and good irrigation, natural irrigation. So it means that it's perfect for the Tempranillo. But we are talking about the Garnacha as the only, it's the other composition of the Viñardanza, is the other blending. The Garnacha grows perfectly and better in the soil that is in Rioja Alavesa, rocky minerality, because the condition of the Garnacha needs that is more dry, not so high humidity as in Rioja Alta. And Rioja Garnacha is more delicate grapes and more delicate vines and vineyards. That's why it needs a little more dry terrain, and also with more rocky, more poor soils. So getting back, every variety needs its own conditions to have its better production of grapes. So all depends of what we are looking for, and all depends also of the variety of the grapes.
Jo, tai ką aš siūlyčiau išgirsti pašnekovo pasakymę, tai kai jis pasakoja apie tas idealias sąlygas, kur vynogės gali augti, tai mes negirdime apie sunkias sąlygas. Kaip tik kalbama apie tai, kad klimatas yra toks lengvas, pakankamai švelnus, apsaugota nuo vėjų, pakankamai kritulių, bet jų nėra per daug. Tai yra subalansuotas geras klimatas, kuriame vynogės lengvai auga, jos nesikankina. Ir čia yra daugelį regionų taip. Jeigu vynogė pasodinta regione, kuriame klimatas yra tobulas, tai vynogiai rezultatas visą laiką yra labai geras. Todėl mes negalim rasti labai daug gerų Pinot Noir. Tokių klimatų vietų yra tik kelios, nors visi bando padaryti gerą. Lygiai ta pati situacija ir su Tempranillo. Rioja Altoje geriausios sąlygos yra Tempranillo, tuo tarpu Rioja Alavesa, kur yra sausesnė, truputį aukščiau virš jūros lygio, tai ir tokia skurdesnė dirva, geriau auga Garnacha. Ir jie tiesiog sodina ten, kur geriau auga, tą vynogę, kuri geriau auga. Tai ta logika visi vintariai faktiškai vadovaujasi, per prievartą negali padaryti netinkamoj dirvoj vynogių. Tai mes išgirdom du pavadinimus vynogių, Tempranillo ir Garnacha. Ir čia reikėtų prisiminti, galbūt aš paklausiu dabar apie vynogės, nes jos yra svarbios, kai mes kalbam ir bandom atpažinti vyno skonį ir paklausim, kodėl naudojamos kelios vynogės, o ne viena. So, talking about grape varieties, you said Tempranillo, Garnacha, so two grape varieties which corresponds to 95% of total plantings of red grapes in Rioja.
Yes.
But there are 3 other grapes, so why Tempranillo is dominant, and what are the perspectives? Will be the same, or there are some changes?
Well, there are in the last years, it has been accepted a little bit more sort of grapes in the DO. So the DO is a little bit more open in the last 3 years, especially, to accept more different grapes in the appellation. But Tempranillo is always going to be dominant in the production in Rioja. Why Tempranillo? Tempranillo, well, the name comes from temprano, from early, means that it's harvested early than the rest of the grapes. in whole Spain. That's why it's called Tempranillo. And the conditions here in Rioja are one of the best for this variety of grapes. So if we talk about the Tempranillo, and Tempranillo, practically Spain is one of the most important, not the biggest production, but one of the most important grapes of talking about quality. Tempranillo. Tempranillo is also for Rioja, for tradition. Riojas is quite the most important because you can age very easy for a long time, and there are wines that you can keep for longer time in your own cellar. That's why we keep here the wines. The vinification is very important, and aging the wines in barrique for a very, very long time. So I think it's the tradition of Rioja, it's the concept of Rioja, and it's the face of Rioja, it's the meaning of Rioja Tempranillo today. And I don't think it's going to be changed. Probably will be new blendings. Probably it's going to be a little changes to make another small, especially for small wineries, to make the differences inside of what is Tempranillo, but Tempranillo will domain always.
Okay. What about Garnacha? So we saw that you put a bit of Garnacha. So
Yes.
what gives Garnacha to the wine?
To the Garnacha. The Garnacha is very fruity, a lot of fruit and fresh fruits bring into the wine. So Viñardanza is a very complex wine, but at the same time, it's a drinking wine. So it has the aging of the Tempranillo from one side, that the Tempranillo can keep it for a longer time, and the Garnacha brings especially these fruit notes, make a very expressive wine with some blackberries, fresh red berries as well from the forest, wild berries, and also combined with the spicy notes aging in oak with the Tempranillo makes a very nice, good blending that you can really, taste and enjoy the wine with a lot of complexity, but a lot of expression. So the Garnacha brings more expression to the wine into the expression of fruit, fresh fruit.
Okay, and Graziano, Mazzuello, why they are grown, what for?
Yes, Graciano Mazzolo is also the same. So we are growing up as well Graciano, and we are also growing Mazuelo, and also we are using both for our grandes reservas. For the Gran Reserva 890, for example, we use Tempranillo, Graciano, and Mazuelo. So those are, every of the wines brings some different notes to the wine, like different kind of fruit, like roasted fruit as well. That's quite very important to the style of the wine. It's like a little recipe that we are using since long time ago, and it's always the same blending since has been always more than 100 years ago. And we are using these 4 varieties of grapes. So Graciano brings also some a little bit more structure to the wine, a little bit more heaviness to the wine, to keep it even longer time in barrique. For example, the Grandes Reservas that we keep here in Rioja is the 904 we keep for 4 years in oak and then 6 years more in the bottle before release to the market. So you can imagine, to keep a wine for 10 years, you need a very specific grapes and sort of grapes to work with them. That's why the Graciano is one of the best, together with Mazuelo.
Okay, but those grape varieties, do you plant more of them, or they stay the same?
No, we are always in renovation. We have our own vineyards, and our vineyards of both of them, they are around 40 years old, between 35 and 40 years old. And we are still planning. I mean, when a vineyard needs to be renovated after 50 or 55 years, we renovate the vineyards. We are still keeping this. I'm talking about Rioja Alta Winery. So it's what we are trying to keep, and it's part of the tradition of our winery. And of course, we are going to still working with those varieties. Probably with Mazuelo a little bit less, but the other 3, of course, they will keep, because it's part of the tradition of our winery, and it's part of the receipt of the wines that we are making.
Yeah, I made photo a few years ago when visiting Rioja, and I'm not sure what kind of grape variety is this. For me, it looks like a bit more like Garnacha, but yeah, it's difficult to say when you don't have writing what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. But dominant wine is red wine, is it so, or white
Yes,
is important?
yes. Actually, yeah, in the last maybe 4 years, the white Riojas are become a little bit more important, but of course, red, we are a red region wine. So I think it's around 97% of the whole production is red wine, and then we have a 3%. It's growing up, the white production in Rioja. It's growing up mainly, and mainly is growing up, and the market is demanding more white Tempranillo.
Okay. White Tempranillo, not Viura, but
Viura is also demanded, but actually we just noticed that the white Tempranillo is high demanded in the market.
okay, interesting. I never tasted. So we understand now grape varieties, and you are in the cellar in
Yes.
your barrel room. So aging of wine
Yes.
in Rioja is very important. Could you tell a bit about how you do that?
Yes, sure. So as you can see, we're using just barriques. Those barriques are for 225 liters. It's a typical barrique. Borderless. So what we are doing is actually after the fermentation takes around 20 days, and between 14 days alcoholic fermentation, a little bit more than the malolactic fermentation, and after fermentation we stabilize the wines for 1 month in stainless steel tanks, and after that we move the wines for the aging in barriques. So we are here in Salon Biger. Salon Biger, it is called so in our winery due to the first enologue that we have. It was a French guy who came here in 1880, more or less, and so we contract him to make wines. So since then, we start to keep the wines in barriques for more than 6 years. Here, these barriques, we are just for 6 years maximum, and we keep here our Gran Reserva 890. So we are in the Salon Biger where we are making only the 890, the Gran Reserva 890. This one stays here for 6 years in this barrique. We are using just American oak. And then the wine stays for 7 years or 8 years more in the bottle with us. Barrique here in Rioja has been always very, very, very important by tradition. We were since the 19th century, we were making the transportation of the wine in barriques, moving even to export to America and the export to France. As probably you know, the phylloxera caused a lot of problems in this north of Europe and destroyed most of the wineries. That's why French people and people from the north, they were coming to the south looking for healthy vineyards here in Spain, where they found us. They found us here with healthy vineyards, and we started to produce actually wines from them. And we are located right in the train station. Corner became quite very important. It's part of the story and why we are using barriques is because we were conditioned by the market of the French people. So that's why we were making, that's why it's coming the words reservas and grandes reservas, because when the French people were coming here to purchase the wine, they were saying, okay, they were tasting the wines and they were saying, we want this wine in the next year, please reserve that wine for us. So it became the qualification reserva, and gran reserva means longer time in aging in barriques. So this is the barrique, just American oak and not French oak. Why American oak? American oak has the characteristic of being more tight. So we don't lose too much wine in the process. So if we keep the wines for a very long time, with a lot of years, we are going to lose less wine. And because French oak has more porosity, it allows a little bit more air to come in, and also at the same time we lose wine. So the losing of wine is going to be bigger. That's one of the reasons. Also, the structure of the American oak is a little more straight, and the French oak is not that so straight. Also, the tasting notes also that brings the American oak is more vanilla notes, cocos notes, that typical and the characteristic of the Rioja wines. If we're talking about the French oak, is more localized and more specific into the wines, like fruity wines and more fresh wines, and you cannot really keep longer time in the French oak. Otherwise, you will be more oxidation in the wine. You are going to have more oxidative notes in the wines.
Interesting. I will explain now in Lithuanian. So, tai, kaip mes girdime, ąžuolo statinės yra svarbus reikalas ir Riojos vynai, ypatingai Rioja Alta, laiko ypatingai ilgai savo geriausią vyną. Jie laiko 6 metus ąžuolo statinėse, tai tikrai niekur daugiau pasaulyje niekas taip nedaro. Dažniausiai 2 metai yra maksimumas, čia 6 metai. Ir įdomu tai, kad Rioja kaip regionas suklestėjo tada, kai XIX amžiaus pabaigoje Europą nusiaubė filokserą, tai toksai pukagraužis, kuris nugrauždavo šaknis vynmedžių. Ir Europoje, ypatingai Prancūzijai, labai kentėjo vyndariai, todėl jie ieškojo vietų, kur dar šitos filokseros nėra ir atkeliavo į Ispaniją. Ir būtent į Rioją ir pirkdavo vyną grinai Riojoje savo klientų poreikiams patenkinti. Ir kai pirkdavo vyną, paragavę iš statinių, sakydavo, rezervuokit man šitą statinę, aš pasiimsiu ją už metų. Dėl to atsirado tas terminas rezerv ir Ispanijoje, ir Riojoje yra kokybės kategorija Crianza, rezerva, Gran rezerva. Ir Gran rezerva laikomas geriausias vynas, ilgiausiai išlaikytas ir ąžuolo statinėse, ir buteliuose. Ir čia gal yra proga jau pauostyti vyną, kaip Luis sakė, amerikietiško ąžuolo statinės, kurios naudojamos daugelį Riojos vyninių, tame tarpe Rioja Alta. Mes atpažįstam iš labai stipraus kokoso tokio sviesto kvapo, vanilės ir kokoso kvapas. Tai pauošius vyną, net ir nepasukus taurėje, mes tą tokį prieskonišką kvapą labai labai gerai jaučiame. Kodėl amerikietiško ąžuolo statinės? Praktinis dalykas tai yra tankesnė mediena, mažiau išgaruoja vyno jį laikant. Kaip žinom, 4, 5, 6% kartais vyno per metus išgaruoja, tiesiog iškeliauja į dangų. Vyndariams toks praradimas, kai laikai 6 metus, nelabai naudingas, prarasti, pavyzdžiui, 25% vyno. Todėl ąžuolo statinės iš Amerikos, jos pritapo Riojoje. Ir vynas netaip greit oksiduojasi. Čia dar vienas dalykas, bręsta lėčiau amerikietiško ąžuolo statinėse negu kad prancūziško. Tai dėl to vyną galima ilgai laikyti ir jisai, tas ilgamžiškumas išlieka, vynas nesioksiduoja, nesusensta greitai. Okay, good. So talking about American oak, why just Rioja is using mostly of that? Why this did not appear in any other places in Spain? Why?
Well, actually, I think in Ribera del Duero there were some wineries also using American oak, but they realized also we were using American oak in our winery in Ribera del Duero. But it's also the Tempranillo there that is growing. But I think the characteristic of the Tempranillo there is quite very, very different. It's more concentration of tannins. The berries are very, very small, a lot of concentration of alcohol. And this characteristic of the grapes doesn't allow you to use so easy the American oak. You cannot keep even the wines for a long time in French oak. This is also a very good and important point. And also in the other point is that the grapes, the characteristic of the grapes is more into the fruit, and to express the fruit, you need more French oak. This is probably we can just export this idea to the other sorts of grapes. This is quite very important. It's not that it's so easy, or this kind of or choosing one of another, but one of the reasons probably is the characteristic of every grape.
Jo, tai kai sako, Luis, Tempranillo labai mėgsta tokį ąžuolą ir tas greita branda jai yra nereikalinga, tai tiesiog ir vynuogė nulėmė tai, kad amerikietiškas ąžuolas yra paplitęs, tai kam įdomu paragauti amerikietiško ąžuolo skonio, tai tikrai nusipirkite Riojos vyno ir tą amerikietišką ąžuolą gerai pajusite. You also keep wine for very long in the bottle. Why?
Yes. So the wine is always in evolution, if moment. So if we will release the wine very early, just after the barrique and then bottling, the wine wouldn't be really ready for the market. It's one of the characteristics also for the Spanish wines. When you are purchasing a bottle of wine, the wine should be already and ready, completely ready to be drinkable. It means that you can just keep it in from the shelves, put it on your table, open the bottle, and drink it. So that's why we are working all these processes for our customers. We are keeping for a very long time in oak. We are making whole vinification. We are keeping the wines in our own cellar for a very long time in the bottle. And then when we just calculate that the wine is ready in the tasting for this for the market, then we release to the market. One of the reasons is this is more commercial. We are not thinking to release a wine that is not ready to be drinkable and is not ready to the market, and the people probably will taste very young wines, and probably the taste wouldn't be so the same as we are now releasing the wines. That's why it's one of the main reasons, actually, to keep it for a long time in the bottle. In the other side, there is another winery, especially from France, that they release the wines very just bottle. So you normally need to keep these wines in your own cellar for some years to drink the wines. So you need more knowledge, we can say so, about wines.
Okay. Tai kaip jūs supratote iš paaiškinimo, tikriausiai vynai iš Riojos atkeliauja jau subrendę ir tinkami gerti. Tai didžiulis privalumas mūsų laikais, kai mes neturime nei rūsio, nei atskirų kambarėlių, nei kažkokių šaldytuvų, kur vyną galėtumėm brandinti 10 metų. Tai geri Riojos vyndariai tuos 10 metų palaiko pas save ir iš karto parduoda vyną subrendusi. Tai vat, tas ir įdomu, kas yra subrendęs vynas. Aš tai, ką turiu savo taurėje, tai 2015 metų rezervą. Tai matau, kad spalva jau yra truputėlį link granato, jinai tiesiog pradeda ruduoti, reiškia, brando šiek tiek atsiranda. Ir kvapuose, be tų vanilės aromatų, kuriuos mes gerai jautėme, tai tempranilio būdingas tokios braškių uogienės ir šiek tiek daržoviškumo tabako natos. Tai va, tas tabakas išduoda, kad vynas yra jau gerokai pabrandintas. O kitoj tauriai pas mane yra krianza, tai yra vynas, kuris yra palaikytas, čia yra 2017 metai, tai 3 metais jaunesnis. Ir jame dominuoja faktiškai vien tik uogos ir uogieniški kvapai. Dar nėra nei tabako, nieko panašaus. Tai norime tų tokių tamsių, truputėlį mėsiškų, prieskoniškų kvapų, pirkim rezervą, gran rezervą, norim labiau vaisio, ieškome krianzos lygio vyno. Just I'm talking about the taste and how we recognize development, which you produce in wine cellar. Yes. So do you release wine every year, every time, every vintage with the same aging, or you vary a bit according to the vintage conditions?
This is an average, more or less the same time. If we talk about Viña Alberdi, for example, it's a wine that stays for 2 years in oak, more or less 3, depends of every vintage, could be 3 or 4 years in the bottle. So more depends on the quality of the wine, I mean the evolution of the wine in the bottle. Sometimes there are some vintages that take a little bit longer time. That's why we keep it a longer time in the bottle. It's more on the perception of the wine when it's ready or is not ready for the market. It's more that, for example, the Viña Danza, now we are talking about the 2010. So it wine that was, for us, it's a reserva that was 3 years in oak and then 7 years more in the bottle. We were just releasing November last year. So we are talking about 9, 10 years wine. So, but some of these vintages has been released in 8 or 7 years. So all depends on the evolution of the wine in the bottle.
Okay. So when you speak about evolution, so I talked a bit about aromas. What about changes in the taste? What do you expect? What taste has to be on the palate? What you recognize?
Yeah, for example, the expression of because every wine has its own expression. So we talk about the Viña Alberdi, should be the tobacco notes, the cocos notes, very present, spicy wine, very well balanced wine. The tannic should be the tannic is one of the very important points. Should be very soft, silky and nice, not aggressive at all. and very rounded, so very elegant tannins. And then also the fruity should be with roasted fruit with blackberries in there, in a good combination, in a very good balance. So the balance of the wine is also very, very important. If we talk about the Viñardanza, we are just in the blending of Tempranillo and Garnacha. It should be very well in the evolution in both of the grapes and in the blending. So it should be the expression of the fruit of the Garnacha with a very live, fruity, fresh fruit. And in the other side should be the Tempranillo with its own tobacco and spicy notes, roasted fruit, and really good combination, very well balanced and harmonious wines. This is quite very important.
Okay, so yeah, just I will tell a few words as well in Lithuanian. Tai, ką mes ir išgirdome, kad na, visų pirma, tai aišku, aromatai keičiasi ir atsiranda tai tokie prieskoniškos natos, ką mes ir mėgstame. Neišnyksta niekur ąžuolo pojūtis, ta vanilė ar kokosas lieka iki pat pabaigos, mes iš to dažniausiai atpažįstame ispanišką vyną. Bet atsiranda tai brandos kvapai, tai yra labiau džiovintų uogų kvapai, tabako kvapai, prieskonius kvapai ir burnoje suminkštėja taninai. Na, taninai vienas iš tų dalykų, dėl ko mes laikom ilgai vyną, tam, kad jisai pasidarytų malonesnis burnoje, taninai pasidarytų švelnus, šilkiniai ir mes jaustumėm daugiau malonumo negu agresijos. Ir aišku, na, taip sakant, kartais tenka labai ilgai laukti to malonumo, tai 10 metų vynui, kuris kainuoja, sakykime, 40 eurų, na, iš ties yra nemažas laiko tarpas, daugelis kitų pasaulio vynų būna jau išgerti seniausiai. Ir burnoje irgi atsiranda tokių juodų uogų kvapų ir čia šiuo atveju aš šitą vyną ragaudamas jaučiu džiovintų mėlynių galbūt kvapą, skonį. Ir na, bendrai vynas harmonizuojasi, jisai susivienyje, susijungia į tokią visumą. Seniau mes sakydavom puokštė, buketas, na, visuma. Neatrodo, kad atskirai ąžuolas, atskirai vaisiai, atskirai alkoholis. Yra kaip vienas daiktas, kurio jau neįmanoma atskirti ir net sunku pasakyti, kaip vynas buvo pagamintas. Tai kuo ilgiau mes laikom, tuo na, vynas darosi na, tiesiog tai vientisesnis ir malonesnis, nes visi pojūčiai pasidaro malonus, nebelieka dalykų, dėl ko mes pagalvom, per anksti atsidariau butelį ir panašiai. Tai Rioja tuo yra patogi, kad iš ties nereikalauja turėtis rūsio, vynas iš karto patenka į rinką jau subrendęs ir kaip mes girdim iš vyndario, kad jie laukia, jie ragauja ir kai vynas tikrai jau tinkamas gerti, tik tada paleidžia į rinką. Tai na, iš ties labai nedaug vyndarių tokį malonumą sau gali leisti, nes neįsivaizduokim 10 metų apyvartą, jie laiko pas save Rusiją. Ir na, tai didelis apyvartinis kapitalas ir didelių patalpų reikalaujantis dalykas, ne visi gali tai padaryti. Okay, so I think that we like followed all the way from beginning to the end of the drinking. Could you tell a few words about typical dishes? What you suggest to eat with Rioja red wine?
Yeah, sure. Well, I tell you a little bit more about Rioja. Rioja, we are just lamb. We are eating lamb a lot, but you can really combine also some good pieces of meat. Red meat goes very, very, very good, especially with a little bit. If we are talking about the Alberdi or the Crianza wines, they are good acidity, very well balanced of acidity. You can even combine some fishes with some sauces as well. That goes and match very well. We're talking about the Crianzas or John Reservas. But we are talking about the Reservas and Grande Reservas, then I would suggest to pair with a really good piece of Estilloan or a piece of really, really good lamb as well, or pork as well, goes well, very, very well. With a good combination, also with game meat goes very well. It has strong taste and strong aromatic notes. You can combine very well with them, with the red wines. Also some good rices as well, with spicy notes with the rice goes very well.
You mean with paella? With paella, you drink also red wine?
Also, yeah, depends on the paella. If this is a paella valenciana, you can match with a red wine, of course. But if this is with fruit de mer, with seafood, then I will suggest for use a white, of course. But also you can combine with paella very well. Yeah.
Okay. Tai mes girdėjom, kad ėriukas yra tobuliausias dalykas su Riojos vynu. Iš ties brandus vynai labai mėgsta ir tokią sudėtingesnę mėsą, kurioje kvapas nėra vien tik tai mėsos, bet yra lajaus ar tiesiog brandos kvapas, tai brandinta mėsa be abejo čia puikiausiai irgi tiktų. Na ir jo, jisai sako, kad ir paelija, gal išskyrus jūros gėrybių paelija, kurią reikėtų vis dėlto su baltu vynu derinti, irgi neblogas derinys. I was also eating in the restaurant in Haro a soup from like inside leftovers, very fatty pieces of the meat. Is it like typical dish in Rioja? Because I was thinking that's like very typical because it was like not very silky and fatty and like things in a soup. Do you know what I speak about?
Yes, I think it has with potatoes and vegetables as well, right? And then
Yes.
the meat and also the seminestra. Yes, of course. It's typically in all Spain, not only from Rioja, but it's very typical. Yes, yeah, it can combine really good with good crianza or some good yon reserva. You can really combine very well with this soup, and it's typical. Yeah, it's typical from Spain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and also the lamb chops are really good combination as well, and red peppers.
Okay, good. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for joining us in this short tasting.
Thank you very much.
I hope that
people
now understand how wine is made, why the taste is like that, and we'll drink more Rioja wines. Thank you.
I hope so. I hope so. And thank you very much for taking us in consideration and for being here. And thank you very much for opening your doors for us and supporting us in your market. Thank you very much. So have a nice evening. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Taip, tai ačiū labai. Mes baigėm mūsų transliaciją iki kito trečiadienio, kur tikriausiai mūsų laukia kažkokia kita įdomi tema. Ir tikėkime vėl prisijungs vindarystai, kol baisu keliauti į Ispaniją ir mažai lėktuvų, tol keliaukime Facebooko pagalba. Viso gero, su jumis buvo Arūnas Starkus ir Vyno klubas su savo virtualiomis degustacijomis.